Attention, you are watching a live broadcast from Moscow. It's a Victory Day parade in Moscow's Red Square. The parade, the national flag of the Russian Federation, and the victory banner. Attention. Entering Red Square is the national flag of the Russian Federation and the symbol of victory in the Great Patriotic War, the victory banner of the 150th Dritska Rifle Division. 77 years ago, this banner, raised over the captured Reichstag building in Berlin, marked the final victory in World War II. Today, the Russian national flag and the victory banner are in the safe hands of the most distinguished servicemen of the 154th Preobrazhensky Independent Commandant's Regiment, Sergeant Anton Mikhailov and Sergeant Dmitry Monasteryov. The Color Guard units are led by Senior Lieutenant Valery Zolotuhin and Senior Lieutenant Gennady Zvonkov.
лет назад
80 years ago, spring 1942 brought an end to the Battle of Moscow. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers and volunteers stood shoulder to shoulder to fight Nazi Germany and defend their capital city. The battle took a toll on both sides. The Nazi troops were seriously defeated for the first time since the war broke out. This put an end to the legend of an invincible Nazi army. The successful defense of Moscow became a symbol of Soviet victory yet to come. Both the Soviet army and the Soviet people knew from then on that the enemy will be defeated. Many soldiers were awarded medals and orders for their valor. The Order of the Patriotic War was established in May 1942. It was the first Soviet order established during the war and the first Soviet order divided into classes. This year marks 80 years since the legendary order was introduced.
В этом году мы отмечаем 80-ю годовщину со дня учреждения легендарной награды.
At ease.
Парад! Смирно!
Attention.
Встречи слева! На край!
Face left.
Под звуки встречного марша
Inspecting today's parade is Russia's defense minister, hero of Russia, Army General Sergei Shoigu.
направляется к центру Красной площади для принятия доклада о готовности войск.
He is heading toward the center of the square to receive the report of the Moscow garrison about their readiness for the parade. Leading the parade is the commander-in-chief of the Army of the Russian Federation, Army General Oleg Salikov.
Товарищ министр обороны Российской Федерации!
Defense Minister of the Russian Federation, the troops of the Moscow garrison for the parade to mark the 77th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War are formed.
Генерал армии Сталюков.
The leader of the parade, the Army General Oleg Salikov.
В соответствии с церемонией проведения военных парадов,
In accordance with the ceremony, the defense minister and the commander of the parade start reviewing the troops.
министр обороны Сергей Шойгу
Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu will now inspect and wish Happy Victory Day to the Combined Army Regiment of the Russian Armed Forces and the cadets of the Military University, Military Logistics Academy, Mikhailovskaya Military Artillery Academy,
Академии и
and
Академии
Air Defense Academy.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
Hello, comrades.
Поздравляю вас!
I congratulate you on the 77th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War.
сухопутные войска составляют
The ground forces are the backbone of the Russian army, which plays the leading role in ensuring national security and protecting Russia's national interests at all times.
отстаивании национальных интересов страны. Сегодня личный состав воинских
Russian
частей
troops are constantly improving their combat skills, learning how to operate new weapons and military equipment and use them to maximum efficiency.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
Good morning, comrades.
Поздравляю вас!
I congratulate you on the 77th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War.
министр обороны поздравил парад
The defense minister is now inspecting a combined regiment of the Russian Aerospace Force. Today, Russian pilots, air defense, and aerospace troops demonstrate high efficiency and stand ready to perform their duty and defend our country's airspace.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
Good morning, comrades.
Поздравляю
I
вас!
congratulate you on the 77th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. The defense minister has congratulated parade formations of the Western Military District Signal Corps, Military Police, Russia's National Guard, and the Ministry of Emergencies,
войск радиационной, химической
and also the Nuclear, Biological, and Chemical Protection Troops.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
Good morning, comrades.
Поздравляю вас!
I congratulate you on the 77th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War.
министр обороны
The defense minister has congratulated the parade formations of the Strategic Missile Force,
воздушно-десантных
airborne troops,
Росгвардии
and the National Guard of Russia.
Здравствуйте,
Good
товарищи!
morning, comrades.
Поздравляю вас!
I congratulate you on the 77th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War.
министр обороны приветствовал
The defense minister has congratulated the parade formations of the Russian Navy, Russian Emergency Ministry, Russian National Cossack Society, female troops, and cadets of the Suvorov and Nahimov Academies and Naval Cadet Corps, as well as the Young Army patriotic movement called UnArmy. A total of 11,000 servicemen are participating in today's victory parade. Army General Sergei Shoigu has finished inspecting the parade formations and is now heading to the central stand to report to Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Armed Forces,
Российской Федерации
President Vladimir Putin.
Товарищ Верховный
Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, the troops of the Moscow garrison are ready for the Victory Day parade. Defense Minister, Army General Shoigu. At ease.
Уважаемые граждане России,
Dear citizens of Russia, dear veterans,
товарищи солдаты,
comrades, soldiers and sailors, sergeant and warrant officers, midshipmen and sergeant majors, comrades, officers, generals and admirals,
поздравляю вас с
Happy Victory Day.
защита Родины, когда решалось
Defense of the motherland when its fate was at stake was always sacred.
подлинного патриотизма.
This is the feeling of true patriotism that felt the defenders of the Patria Minin Pozharsky
Под Москвой
went to Borodino, fought against the enemy near Moscow and Leningrad, Kiev and
Курском.
Minsk, Stalingrad and Kursk, Sevastopol and Kharkov.
В эти
That's how it's happening now, these days. You're fighting for our people in Donbass, for safety of our motherland, of Russia.
мая 1940
May 9th of 1945 will forever be perpetuated as a triumph of our one single Soviet people, of its cohesion and spiritual might, unparalleled exploit both at the front line and at the home front. The Victory Day is close and sacred to each one of us. There is no family in Russia that has not felt the suffering of the Great Patriotic War, and we will always remember that. These days, in the Immortal Regiment marches, the children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren are carrying the pictures of their family members, soldiers who fell and remained forever young, and the veterans who left us. We are proud of the generation of victors. We are proud to be their descendants, and it is our right to hold sacred their memory, who told us to be vigilant and to do everything we can to avoid the
все разногласия в международных отношениях.
horror of the war. And Russia has always stood for having equitable and indivisible security system that the entire world community needs of. Last December, we suggested to sign an agreement about the security guarantees. Russia called on for the West to look for the sensible compromises and taking into account interests of each other. But it was in vain. NATO nations did not want to heed our call. It means that in reality, they had different plans. And we saw that. Openly, they were preparing for another punitive operation in Donbass, invading our historical lands, including Crimea. In Kiev, they were making statements about possible acquiring nuclear weapons. NATO alliance started actively exploring territories next to us. Hence, they were trying to create an acceptable threat for us. And it was in the vicinity of our borders. Everything was showing at the fact that the clash against neo-Nazis, Bandera followers, that the U.S. and their satellites put a stake on was something that had to happen. We saw how they were deploying troops, how hundreds of foreign instructors started to work, how regularly they were supplying state-of-the-art weapons from NATO countries. It was becoming more and more dangerous with every day, and Russia prevented this hostility. We had to do this, and it was the only right thing to do. The decision of sovereign, strong, and independent country. The United States of America, especially after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, started to talk about their exclusivity. Thus, they were humiliating not only the entire world, but also their satellites, who had to pretend that they do not notice anything. They had to swallow it all. But we are not the same. Russia has a different character. We will never renounce from our love to our motherland, from our faith, from traditional values, from the customs of our ancestors, from the respect to all nations and cultures. And in the West, these millennial values, they decided to cancel. These Moral degradation has become the foundation of cynical falsification of the history of World War II. Russophobia, praising traitors, tormenting the memory of the victims, crossing out the sufferings those who fought for the victory. We know that the American veterans who wanted to come to the parade to Moscow were basically prohibited from doing so. But I want them to know we are proud of your exploits and of your heroic deeds, of your contribution to the victory. We honor all the soldiers of the Allied armies, American, Frenchmen, Englishmen, participants of the resistance movement, soldiers and partisans of China, everyone who crushed Nazism and militarism. Dear comrades, today the militants of Donbass with the soldiers of the Russian army are fighting in their own land, where Svetoslav and Vladimir Monomach were defeating their enemies, of Suvorov and Brusilov were defeating their enemies, where the heroes of the Great Patriotic War were standing their ground, Nikolai Batutin, Kovpak, Ludmila Pavlichenko. And I would like to address our armed forces and to the militants of Donbass. You are fighting for your homeland, for its future, to make sure that no one forgets the lessons of World War II, not to have any more punitive squads and killing squads. We bow our heads before the memory of everyone who lost their lives because of the Great Patriotic War. We bow before the memory of the sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, grandfathers, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, family members, friends. We bow our heads before those who were burned alive in Odessa in May of 2014. We bow before the memory of elderly, women and children of Donbass, civilians who died because of the shelling, barbarian assaults by neo-Nazis. We bow our heads before our comrades in arms who fell heroically in the righteous fight for Russia. Let us hold a minute of silence. Dear comrades, the death of every our soldier and officer is a tragedy to all of us, and it's a irrecoverable loss for their families. The state, regions, enterprises, public and civic organizations will do everything to take care of such families, to help them, to support them, and special support will be given to the children of the fallen and wounded soldiers. The President's decree has been signed today. We wish quick recovery to the soldiers and officers who were wounded, and I would like to thank doctors, nurses, medical professionals of the field hospitals for their work. I would like to bow my head before you for fighting to save every life, often being shelled at the front line without thinking about yourselves. Dear comrades, now, here, at Red Square, shoulder to shoulder, we see soldiers and officers from many regions of our vast homeland, including those who arrived right from Donbass, immediately from the conflict zone. We remember how enemies of Russia tried to use international gangs of mercenaries against us tried to sow the dissent among us, to try to break us. They failed. Today, our soldiers of various ethnicities fight together, shoulder to shoulder, covering each other, shielding each other, like true brothers they are. And it is the strength of Russia, the great might of our joint multi-ethnical people. Today, you're fighting for the same thing your fathers, great-grandfathers fought for, because for them, the security and safety of their homeland was the most important thing. And for us, their descendant, the main value is being true to our homeland. It is the strength of independent Russia. Those who crushed Nazism during Great Patriotic War showed example of true heroism for all times. That was the generation of victors, and we will always look up to them. Glory to our glorious armed forces. For Russia, for the victory. Hurrah!
Парад! Смирно!
Parade attention.
Торжественному маршу!
Ceremonial march.
Батальонно!
Form battalions.
На одного линейного
Distance by a single lineman.
первый батальон,
1st battalion goes straight.
остальные
Remainder,
направо,
right. Turn,
на плечи,
slope, arms.
равнение направо,
Face right.
шагом марш!
March.
Торжественное шествие войск.
Parade Commander General Oleg Salikov opens the parade.
Право первыми пройти по Красной площади.
Entering Grand Square are students of the Halilov Moscow Military Musical College. They will set the marching rhythm for the parade.
Валерия Халилова командует парадным расчетом.
The parade formation is led by college principal Colonel Alexander Gerasimov.
В этом году
2022 marks 85 years since the foundation of the college.
мимо трибун проходят знамена
The Color Guard units march across Red Square, carrying the state flag of the Russian Federation, the victory banner, and the banner of the Russian Armed Forces. The Color Guard units are accompanied by the Honor Guard of the 154th Preobrazhensky Independent Commandant's Regiment.
С честью представляет страну и
They represent the country and the armed forces at the state and international protocol events.
на марше парадный расчет
You can now see the parade formation of the Moscow Suvorov Military College, led by Colonel Igor Yakimov. Suvorov Military College cadets traditionally participate in all Victory Day parades on Red Square since 1957.
на Красной площади Тверское Суворовское
Now comes the parade formation of the Tver Suvorov Military College, led by Colonel Sergei Tundenkov.
образование.
The college has produced over 15,000 highly qualified officers since its foundation, who serve in the army with distinction.
На брусчатке Красной площади парадный
A
расчет
parade formation of Sevastopol's Nahimov Naval Academy enters Red Square.
училища
It's led by its principal, Counter-Admiral Valery Miron. These troops secure Russia's northern sea frontiers.
на Красной площади воспитанники Кронштадтского
We now welcome the young cadets from the Kronstadt Naval Cadet Corps. The parade formation is led by Captain First Rank Nikolai Dovbeshko. The school's curriculum preserves the best traditions of the naval cadet training.
В параде Победы участвуют лучшие
Joining the parade are the top members of UnArmy, the Young Army Patriotic Movement.
в рядах которого
It brings together over 1 million young men and women across Russia.
и девушек. Возглавляет
The parade formation is led by the Chief of Staff of the movement,
штаба движения
Olympic champion Nikita Nagorny.
Горный. На Красной площади полк
Now joining the parade as an army regiment of the Russian Armed Forces.
слушателей
First in line are cadets and officers of the Combined Arms Academy of the Russian Federation. The parade formation is led by head of the academy, Lieutenant General Alexander Romanchuk. Many World War II front commanders and army commanders were alumni of this academy.
сегодня
Today, the academy continues to train top commanders for the Russian army and law enforcement agencies.
других силовых ведомств. Мимо трибун проходит парадный
The parade
расчет
formation of the Military University of the Russian Defense Ministry is marching across Red Square. It's led by Lieutenant General Igor Mishutkin.
Мишуткин. За более чем
To date, the university has produced more than 230,000 officers, experts in political and military sciences, military psychology, as well as legal professionals and interpreters.
по Красной площади
Joining the parade is the formation of the Krylov Military Logistics Academy, led by Major General Vladimir Konovalov.
Владимир Коновалов. Более 100
The academy has been operational for over 120 years, providing a total of 270-degree programs for Army and Navy trainees. A total of over 120,000 logistics officers have graduated the academy.
в парадном строю курсанты
Joining the parade on Red Square are the Mikhailovskaya Military Artillery Academy cadets, led by Principal Lieutenant General Oleg Yegorov. The academy trains officers for artillery and missile troops.
более 100
More than 100 Academy graduates are heroes of the Soviet Union and heroes of Russia.
На марше военной академии
Joining the parade on Red Square are the Marshal Vasilevsky Air Defense Academy cadets, led by Principal Lieutenant General Gleb Yeremin.
сегодня
Today, the Academy trains officers for state-of-the-art air defense missile systems.
и систем. На Красной
The
площади
combined
парадные расчеты военнослужащих женщин.
female parade formation enters Red Square, led by Major Maria Vasilyeva and Lieutenant Colonel Yekaterina Ryakova. These are the cadets of 6 Russian military schools, future logistics officers, military psychologists and interpreters, legal and financial experts, officers of the Air Space Force and nuclear, biological and chemical protection troops from 6 institutions of Russia.
На Красной площади полк
Now joining the parade is the Russian Aerospace Force Regiment formation jointly with the officers and cadets of the Zhukovsky and Gagarin Air Force Academy. The parade formation is led by its principal, Colonel General Gennady Zibrov. Today, the Academy trains officers for military aviation and electronic warfare systems. Among the Academy alumni were Yuri Gagarin, the first man to go to space, Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman to travel to space, and Soviet World War II fighter ace Ivan Kozhedub.
Иван Кожедуб, Юрий Гагарин, Валентина Терешкова. Более 1500 выпускников Академии.
More than 1,500 Academy graduates have been awarded the titles of Heroes of the Soviet Union and Heroes of the Russian Federation. 60 of them received the highest award twice.
На марше парадный расчет
A parade formation of the Mozhaysky Military Space Academy is led by its principal, Major General Yuri Kulishov. The Academy is the key education and research center that trains uniquely qualified aerospace specialists. The Academy graduates are leading experts in military aerospace engineering.
специалистами цифровых технологий в сфере военно-космической деятельности. На Красной площади полк военных
Marching across Red Square is the combined regiment of the Russian Navy. First in line are cadets of the Admiral Kuznetsov Naval Academy, led by Captain First Rank Andrei Klemenko.
Андрей Клименко. Сегодня
Academy graduates make up the core of the Russian Navy Command.
самая современная и грозная техника
They work the state-of-the-art equipment that allow us to protect the borders of our homeland from anywhere in the world ocean. Over 50 Academy graduates are heroes of the Soviet Union and heroes of socialist labor.
мимо трибун проходят курсанты
The parade formation of the Nahimov Black Sea Naval Academy is led by Counter-Admiral Alexander Grinkevich.
Гринкевич. Послевоенный
After World War II, many of the Academy's graduates have become Russia's first trained specialists in seaborne and coastal missile systems, contributing to the growth and development of Russia's Navy.
на марше полк ракетных
They are followed by a combined regiment of Strategic Missile Force. The first to march is the parade formation of the Peter the Great Academy. The parade formation is led by Lieutenant General Igor Afonin. Today, the Academy is Russia's #1 Strategic Missile Force school that offers a total of 20 degree programs for future Strategic Missile Force officers.
специальностям, предназначенным для эксплуатации новейших ракетных комплексов.
They are trained to use the state-of-the-art missile strategic purpose complexes.
На
Now the Serpukhov branch of the Peter the Great Military Academy is entering Red Square, led by Major General Andrei Morozov. For over 80 years, the Academy trains officers and engineers to operate all types of strategic missile systems, capable of effectively defending Russia's sovereignty and addressing security threats. The airborne troops are proudly marching across Red Square now. First, we see the cadets of the Margalov Guards Higher Airborne Officer College base in Ryazan. The formation is led by college principal Colonel Ruslan Yevdokimov. The Margalov College has trained over 50,000 officers who are considered to be among the best in the Russian armed forces. As many as 138 officers of the Russian airborne troops have been awarded the titles of Heroes of the Soviet Union and Heroes of the Russian Federation. The parade formation of the Moscow Border Guards Institute of the Federal Security Service is led by its Superintendent Major General Valery Kozlov. 2022 marks 90 years in the foundation of the institute. It has trained over 50,000 officers for Russia's security services. The parade formation of the Marshal Timoshenko Military Academy of Radiation, Chemical and Biological Protection enters Red Square, led by the Academy's Superintendent Major General Igor Yemelyanov. In 2022, the Academy celebrates a 90-year anniversary. Joining the parade is the 45th Berlin Guards Combat Engineering Brigade. The formation is led by Lieutenant Colonel Artem Ratayev. Military engineers played a key role in many successful defensive and offensive operations in the Great Patriotic War. The younger generation is proud to uphold their legacy. The parade formation of the 38th Separate Railway Brigade enters Red Square, led by its commander, Colonel Igor Orlov. These days, the Railway Brigade is tasked with developing the strategic Baikal-Amur mainline railway. Joining the parade are units of Russia's military police, led by Colonel Gennady Makarov. Military police officers carry out special operations both in Russia and abroad. Marching across Red Square is the parade formation of the Emergencies Ministry's Civil Defense Academy, led by its Superintendent Major General Viktor Panchenkov. This year, the Academy marks its 30th anniversary and has trained over 70,000 specialists in emergency response. The parade formation of the Dzerzhinsky Independent Operational Purpose Division, Russian National Guard Force Command, is joining the parade. The parade formation is led by Commander of the Division, Major General Nikolai Kuznetsov. Today, Russia's Maroon Berets are safeguarding the military tradition of the division, displaying courage and gallantry in their meritorious service. They are honorably discharging their duty of protecting law and order and ensuring security of Russia's strategic facilities and peace for civilians. Joining the parade is the National Russian Cossack Society, represented by the Kuban Cossack host and the Terek Cossack host. The formation is led by Cossack General Nikolai Daluda. For hundreds of years, Cossacks have defended Russia, explored new territories and protected the nation's borders. They also helped to defend Russia against Nazis in World War II. Over 70 Cossack combat formations and military units covered themselves with eternal glory and will always be remembered for their valor and bravery. Now a formation of the Western Military District soldiers and officers is marching on Red Square. First entering the square is the parade formation of the 2nd Guards Taman Motor Rifle Division. The parade formation is led by Colonel Mikhail Zapivalov. In World War II, this division participated in over 20 military operations and was one of the first to be awarded the title of the Guards Division. Here comes a parade formation of the 4th Guards Kantemirovskaya Tank Division. It's led by Lieutenant Colonel Roman Rybin. The division boasts 57 heroes of the Soviet Union and Russia among its officers. Joining the parade is the formation of the 27th Sevastopol Motor Rifle Brigade led by Lieutenant Colonel Ruslan Dmitrov. In World War II, the brigade soldiers and officers distinguished themselves during the storming of Mount Sapun in Crimea and Königsberg. The Moscow Higher Military Command School cadets are the last ones to march through Red Square in this part of the parade. They are led by the school's superintendent, Major General Roman Binikov. Cadets of the Moscow Higher Military Command School glorified this institution during World War II by blocking the Nazi troops advanced towards Moscow. The cadets demonstrated unparalleled courage. Today, Russia's best military traditions nurtured by this educational institution are safeguarded by its graduates, officers of the Russian Army. 109 graduates have been awarded the titles Hero of the Soviet Union, Hero of Russia, and Hero of Socialist Labor. The military orchestra is leaving Red Square to give room to armor. The combined military orchestra of the Moscow garrison provides musical accompaniment for the parade. Merited artist of the Russian Federation, Major General Timofey Mayakin, is the conductor. Armored vehicles are now entering Red Square. The parade formations include 131 pieces of armor. The 1st Guards Tank Army has the honor to open the motorized part of the parade, featuring the legendary World War II tank T-34-85 under the fight banner. The tank is operated by Senior Sergeant Ilya Shibanenko. The 16th Guard Special Forces Brigade is driving armored vehicles with enhanced protection, Typhoon VDV and Typhoon K, equipped with remote control combat modules. The parade formation is led by Senior Lieutenant Roman Provatorov. Entering the square is the 15th Guards Shevlinsky Motor Rifle Regiment of the 2nd Taman Division, led by Senior Lieutenant Yevgeny Chernevsky. The column features BMP-2M infantry fighting vehicles with the Berezhok combat module, BMP-3S, and the latest generation of heavy IFVs Kurganets 25 with the Epocha combat modules. A column of T-72B3M main battle tanks are entering the square. It's the 1st Guard Chertkovsky Taman Tank Regiment, the 2nd Taman Motor Rifle Division, which bears the name of Marshal Katukov. During World War II, the regiment was awarded 6 war decorations. The parade formation is commanded by Captain Ildar Kayumov.
На Красной площади
Entering Red Square is the parade formation of the latest pieces of military equipment of the 27th Guard Sevastopol Motor Rifle Brigade, led by Captain Tengiz Nadjarov, featuring T-90M Proryv and of a new generation of T-14 Armata tanks.
Наджапов. На брусчатке Красной площади боевая техника
Here come Russia's missile and artillery troops.
сил Российской Федерации. Открывают
Now crossing Red Square is the parade formation of the latest successors to the legendary Katyusha rocket launcher systems. The 147th Guard self-propelled artillery Simferopol regiment is driving a column of Tornado G multiple rocket launchers equipped with an automated aiming and fire control system. The parade formation is led by Major Dmitry Ryabchikov.
мимо трибун проходит
Now crossing Red Square is the division of Iskander-M high-precision missile systems of the 112th Guards Novorossiysk Missile Brigade. The brigade was awarded 7 military orders for successful World War II operations.
динамик. Во главе парада
The parade formation is led by Major Alexander Shubin.
ствольную артиллерию
A
сухопутных
cannon artillery formation of the Russian army is represented by a column of the 236th Artillery Brigade that features 152mm self-propelled Mstayas howitzers. The formation is led by Major Ilnar Safiulin. Due to unified fire control system and unique technical characteristics, these self-propelled howitzers can attack targets with maximum precision and a very high firing rate.
на Красную площадь выдвигается парад.
Entering Red Square is the parade formation of the air defense systems of the Russian army, featuring Tor M2 anti-aircraft missile systems of the Guards Ternopil Regiment of the 4th Kantemirovskaya Division and the Buk M3 anti-aircraft missile systems of the 53rd Air Defense Missile Berlin Brigade. The formation is led by Major Sergei Orekhov. The latest generation of the air defense missile systems is capable of neutralizing any incoming threats, protecting equipment and troops during military operations.
На марше колонна зенитных ракетных
On Red Square are now the S-400 Triumph anti-aircraft missile systems of the 606th Guards Air Defense Missile Regiment of the Russian Aerospace Force, commanded by Major Igor Ivanov.
боевые характеристики комплекса.
Thanks to its advanced characteristics, S-400 Triumph is the best air defense system of this type in the world, capable of destroying the potential enemy's most advanced airspace attack weapons.
Мимо трибун проходит
Vehicles of airborne troops are moving across Red Square now. In the front is a parade formation of the 137th Guards Ryazan Airborne Regiment, featuring BMD-4M, a new generation of airborne combat vehicles, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Sergei Koshelev. This IFV is second to none in terms of speed, firepower, and airborne mobility.
в мире. На Красной площади парадный
Entering Red Square is now a parade formation of the units participating in Russia's special military operation aimed at protecting the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics. The 106th Guards Tula Airborne Division is parading on Red Square in multi-purpose armored personnel carriers called Drakushka. These servicemen have been awarded military orders and medals for their outstanding courage and bravery. The parade formation is commanded by Captain Artyom Yermakov. The great-grandchildren of World War II heroes are now engaged in the unrelenting fight against Nazis under the slogan, "No one but us." They are committed to protecting the lives of civilians.
На Красной площади представлены боевые многофункциональные
The Red Square, you can see
комплексы Уран-9.
the Uranus 9 multi-purpose fire support unmanned ground combat vehicles. Lieutenant Colonel Maxim Rovnov is leading the formation. These unmanned vehicles are a perfect fit for any combat, reconnaissance and counter-terrorist task.
Мимо трибун проходит механизированный
Now joining the parade is an armored column of the Strategic Missile Force of Russia. You can see the Yars autonomous missile launchers of the 54th Guards Missile Division. The parade column is led by Lieutenant Colonel Vasily Menshinin.
Мобильные возможности комплекса ЯРС
Thanks to its enhanced mobility, the Yars missile system guarantees covert deployment of missile forces across extensive areas and ensures the launch of a missile that can overcome any air defense. These systems are the backbone of the mobile component of Russia's nuclear force.
сильной группировки ядерных сил России. Под командованием лейтенанта Павла Комарова
The boomerangs wield armored personal carriers and the procession of the military equipment carrying flags of different branches of the Russian armed forces. The formation is led by Lieutenant Pavel Komarov.
В финале военного парада сводный оркестр исполняет песню «Родная».
In the grand finale of the military parade, the orchestra will be performing a special song, The Homeland.
Военный парад, посвященный
The 77th anniversary parade marking the victory in the Great Patriotic War is coming to its end. The military band is leaving Grand Square.
Парад Победы.
The victory parade is over.
Да здравствует
Happy 77th anniversary of the great victory.
Ура!
Hurrah!
Слава!
Glory to the veterans of the Great Patriotic War.
Ура!
Hurrah!
Поздравляем
Happy Victory Day to all Russians.
Праздником! Ура!
Hurrah! Due to dire weather conditions, the aviation part of the parade was cancelled.